How's it going, everyone? It's Harvey from Weather Sponge 5000, and today we're going to talk about the type of winter conditions you should expect throughout Europe. So if we were to take a look at what pattern is going to take shape here in Europe, it's most likely going to be a La Nina pattern, or more specifically a weak La Nina pattern. And for much of Europe, typically what we see during a La Nina is a strong amount of ridging, which allows the temperature to be likely more warmer than usual, because due to the fact that it's drier under a ridge, it allows a lot more sunlight to hit a lot of these countries for the temperature to overall be warmer, as we overall see this ridge help divert a lot of the cold fronts away from Europe. And we clearly see that based on the European model's forecast when it comes to temperature anomaly for the months of December, January, and February. It's expected to be pretty much warmer all across the board, with the temperature anomalies being the strongest towards the northeastern portion of Europe, where we see the northern countries such as Poland, Sweden, Norway, as well as Finland get involved with much warmer than average temperatures that are expected to occur this winter. Of course, even if this forecast was 100% correct, this doesn't mean that every day in the winter there's going to be above average temperatures. Of course, you're going to see those days where it's going to be colder than average as well, but most likely, based on the forecast from the European model and the pattern we're expecting to see for this winter, it's going to be warmer than normal for most of the days in the winter time frame, or for more days than what you typically expect for the winter. So definitely keep that in mind throughout Europe, especially in Northern Europe going into this winter. But we need to take a look at other factors as well that will play a big role in determining what type of conditions you should see this winter. So now taking a look at the precipitation anomalies. So of course, since during a La Nina there's a strong amount of ridging right over the continent, that allows a lot more dry air to filter in, and it diverges a lot of the moist air mass that would be associated with low pressure systems and move just north of this ridge, which is the reason why in southern Europe we see the precipitation anomalies lean a little bit more to being drier than normal, where we do see the chance it's going to be drier than normal in a lot of these southern European countries such as Italy and Spain is closer to 60 to 70%. So based on that fact alone, we should expect a drier and warmer than normal winter this winter. So definitely be prepared for that, especially towards southern Europe. But we see a difference in northern Europe, especially during La Nina years, where we do see it is a little bit more likely you're going to see more precipitation than usual, where we see in countries such as like I said, Norway, Sweden, and Finland, the precipitation anomalies should be a little bit stronger this winter towards receiving more precipitation than what you'd expect. So definitely be prepared for that, and that of course could enhance the chance of snowfall thanks to the higher than normal precipitation. And even though it may be warmer than normal right over northern Europe, the higher precipitation could offset that and still bring more snowfall than what you'd expect during the winter time frame, because of course, like I said, not every day is going to be so warm to the point where it won't allow for snowfall to occur. Of course, we're going to see those days where it's going to be cold enough to see a heavy amount of snowfall at times for northern portions of Europe. And we even see that the northern portion of the United Kingdom and Ireland are expected to potentially be in the range where precipitation would be a little bit more likely in that area. So definitely be prepared for that possibility in the northern United Kingdom as well. As in general for the northern portion, the extreme northern portions of Europe, you should expect it to be a little bit more moist than normal this winter, while the southern portion of Europe and even as far north as Central Europe, I do expect it to be potentially at least having a higher possibility of the conditions being drier than normal this winter. So based on the two maps I showed you just before when it comes to temperature and precipitation anomalies, this could help predict the snowfall anomalies for each area, because of course temperature as well as just precipitation in general and moisture in general helps determine how much snowfall you receive in a given area. And like I said, the northern portion of Europe, since that area is expected to receive more moisture than usual, the snowfall anomalies are more likely to be higher than normal this winter, despite the fact that the temperatures should be warmer than normal, since it's likely that the higher amount of moisture moving through that area should overall offset the fact that it's going to be warmer in northern Europe, because there's still going to be plenty of snowfall events and plenty of times this winter, despite the fact that it's going to be a warmer than average winter, where it's going to be cold enough for snowfall to occur. So I do expect the snowfall anomalies to be a little bit stronger towards being above average for the northern countries of Europe. And then taking a look at Central and Southern Europe, we see that you guys are much less likely to receive a heavy amount of snowfall this winter, thanks to the fact that, like I said, we're going to be in a La Nina. It's going to be drier than normal, and that should lead to warmer conditions as well. So the chance of snowfall definitely decreases for much of Europe, as you should expect in a lot of these areas, less snowfall than usual. And if you're an area that very rarely receives snowfall, then it's definitely most likely you're not going to receive any sort of snowfall this winter, as it's just going to be a little bit too warm and dry this winter in a lot of these areas. Another thing that's good to take a look at is a drought monitor, because of course if a drought is going on in a certain area, then that could potentially last up until the winter time frame and affect the type of conditions you do receive this winter. And as we clearly see, much of southern and eastern Europe is experiencing a moderate to severe drought, and since droughts very rarely go away overnight, this is most likely to last up until the winter time frame. So I do believe this will also contribute to the possibility of warmer than average temperatures, because of course droughts do promote warmer than average temperatures, as well as the fact that you're more likely to receive of course drier than normal conditions during a drought. So I do believe that this will make it less likely you're going to receive more snowfall than usual this winter in a lot of these areas, as most likely you should receive less snowfall than what you typically experience. So definitely keep that in mind as well going into the winter time frame. For the rest of Europe, we do see the drought isn't as strong and nearly non-existent pretty much for much of Western Europe. But still, since we're going to be in the La Nina, I think you're still going to lean a little bit more towards the type conditions that are a little bit warmer and drier than normal. So let me keep that in mind for Eastern Europe as well. Just because you're not in a drought right now does not mean that you're going to completely avoid the drier and warmer than usual conditions that are expected to happen this winter. Of course, take it with a grain of salt. This isn't 100% fact. You're going to receive a warmer and drier than normal winter, but most likely, thanks to what we've seen with prior La Nina years, and thanks to what the computer models, such as the European model, is stating, it's most likely it's going to be warmer and drier than normal in a lot of these areas. Another thing I want to show you is a sea surface temperature anomaly, because as we clearly see just off the coast of Europe, though, sea surface temperatures are warmer than normal, and I think that should contribute to the temperatures, especially right up along the coast, to be warmer than normal, as well as sea surface temperatures throughout the world in general plays a major role in terms of the type of air temperatures you see, because water is holds a lot of energy, and that heat energy could easily radiate out into the air temperature, and especially since due to the fact that weather moves from west to east, a lot of the winds should come straight off the ocean to have a major role in terms of the type of air temperatures you experience this winter. So pretty much throughout the entirety of the year, the northern Atlantic more specifically, been warmer than normal. So I do think that will also contribute to the temperatures being warmer than normal throughout Europe this winter. So here is my Europe winter forecast for 2024 through 2025. and we clearly see that pretty much nearly the entirety of Europe, I'm expecting it to be warmer and drier than average, with an emphasis more on the northern portion of Europe towards Poland and surrounding areas a little bit further eastward, where in this specific area, it should be much warmer and drier than average. I believe this will be the case because based on what the European model is stating, it is leaning towards a direction where the anomalies should be the strongest when it comes to how much above average it is, right around the northern portion of Europe. And then for the extreme northern portions, however, for Sweden, Finland, as well as Norway, I do expect more snowfall than usual, despite the fact that temperatures might be warmer than usual, thanks to the fact that you're going to receive more moisture than normal. So you should expect more powerful snowstorms to move through this area. And then for the northern portion of United Kingdom, as well as Ireland, I do expect it to be a little bit more moist than usual as well, based on what we typically see during La Nina years, and based on what the most reliable computer models are stating. But the rest of Europe, expect it to be warmer and drier than normal. And if you're hoping for snowfall, unfortunately, it is a little bit less likely this winter, most likely, thanks to the fact that we're going to see these types of conditions. So this is my general winter forecast for Europe. If you want even more in detail forecasts regarding the type of conditions you should expect this winter in your specific location in Europe, just make sure to comment down your general location down below, and I'll make sure to give you guys a more in detail forecast regarding what type of winter conditions you should expect this winter. So comment down below if you're interested. But that's it for now, guys, and I thank you guys for watching.